am in the shower, I am brushing out my hair first with a wet brush or some sort of softer brush, so I'm not tearing through my hair. But you definitely want to comb out your hair before you get in the shower, anytime, honestly. It helps you to reduce any pulling out of hair that you don't want. Just feels a lot better, and then it makes whatever product you're about to put into your hair work a little easier without so much tangliness. So here I am also wetting my hair after that. You really want to get your hair sopping wet. This is where our system works a little bit different than other shampoos. So most shampoos will come with about 60 to 80% water in the bottle, but our MONAT shampoo comes with about 40% water in the bottle. So what you're doing here is adding all the water that you're going to be using to create some suds in the future to make sure that it's spreading throughout the hair properly as well, because the water itself is not in the bottle. So if you're like me and you've had a little bit medium to longer hair and you go to grab like about 17 pumps of shampoo, this is where it's going to be different. That was the Renew shampoo, and I'm going to show you right now. It's hard to see, but I just put about a quarter amount in my hand. So from here, I'm going to emulsify it in my hands until it's a nice white whip on my hands, and you can see that at the end when I show you on the camera. But you have to do this part because this is another thing with sulfate-free shampoos where you normally would just see suds because it's soap, but with sulfate-free, sulfates is what actually makes something kind of whip up without trying. So in this case, I whipped it up in my hands before, and since my hair is already sopping wet, I'm going to go ahead and work it around into my roots first. That's where you normally want to start because, and I'll tell you why, all your oil builds up there on the scalp, and you're going to be mostly, honestly, this first round of washing especially if you already use something that is not sulfate free, it's gonna feel like it just soaked right in. In fact, you can't even see really any like bubbles yet. You can't see any sudsiness. Right now it's kind of just me working that oil-based stuff right into my scalp and kind of working it around all the perimeter of my hair and gently massaging it. So that first round of scrubbing, I'm really just going to rinse out, because what our proprietary blend of oils does is gets all the way into your third layer of hair. There's 3 layers to hair, and the third one is the hardest one to get into in the very center, but ours at a molecular level is built to do that. So it's going to be pushing out the impurities with an oil-based system. And if you know this about skincare sometimes as well, we use either usually an oil or water-based system. And because this is an oil-based system, oil combats oil the same way you would do oil pulling maybe for your teeth or something. There's another round of the same Renew, and I'm just going to put it in. And this time, after lathering it in my hands, when I put it on, you should see a little bit more whip in my hair. But so oil-based helps do pulling out impurities, because if you've ever used like oil and water or oil and vinegar, you could see how it doesn't really mix. You could shake it up and it kind of seems like it's together for a moment, but then it goes back. So oil, though, will mix with other oil, and so what it's doing is going in and grabbing any of the other dirt that's oily on my head, and it's going to from there be able to rinse off impurities once it's latched on to that other oil on my head. So here I'm just separating through the scalp, and as you can see, whatever's left on my hand, I keep kind of emulsifying it again to make what I've got, which is just a quarter amount again, last throughout this entire process. And as my hands keep getting wet when I'm spreading it throughout my scalp, I'm just going to keep doing that emulsifying in my hands until it's pretty much gone. So now that it's all over my scalp, I'm just going to continue to really scrub it around on my scalp, mostly giving yourself like a scalp massage. You got to think about shampooing a little different in this system, because I believe that most people feel confident when it bubbles up right away, and they kind of can just like rake right through their hair no matter how long, and they love that feeling. But a lot of times that feeling is kind of like a fake feeling of cleanness when you know, it's due to usually the silicones and things in there that make it seem a lot smoother, but it's really just coating the top of your hair. So in this system, we see me just kind of massaging on top a lot. You don't see me raking through and trying to make sure I can finger through my hair. Like, I have pretty wavy hair, and you can see it still being pretty wavy. I'm not trying to straighten it out. I'm not trying to comb through it with some other device. I'm mostly on top and kind of just rubbing it in as much as I can. So here you'll see me split my hair in half. And what I like to do once I have a really good whip on top of my head is take some of that from the root area and just shimmy it on down to the mids and the ends. So you see me putting my hands together similarly to the way I was lathering, just kind of working that down. So again, I'm not raking through my hair, and I think that's really important to mention over and over, because so many people who don't pay attention to how to do our system, I think, feel that, you know, naturally they're just going to do it how they would do any other shampoo system, which again with the silicones and stuff kind of lets you do that raking through your hair, where you feel a little better, like, oh, it's must be working because it's so silky smooth already. Well, kind of, but it's not just your hair. It's a lot of other stuff piled up on top of each strand that's making you feel kind of fakely like it is working, but it's really just coating the top, and nothing is penetrating as deep as the third layer like this one is with the oil system. So here I'm just really giving it another amazing rinse. You got to get it all the way out so you know you're rinsing out all those impurities. And I do continue further with a purple shampoo after this because I am blonde. So we have one for our platinum wannabes. I'm obviously not a complete global bleach out with like platinum carding or anything. I just have balayage and highlights, but I do love the fact that we still have a purple shampoo for our blondes. We also have one for brunettes and brilliant blondes that want to be like a brighter kind of blonde. I wouldn't call it gold, but it has elements of gold in it where it seems more brilliant, like shiny. So I'm just really getting a good rinse there, and then I'm going to go in with our purple shampoo next. See here, I am just letting that purple shampoo sit for a little bit, 5 minutes or less, and I definitely did the same exact process as last time, so it's going to be the same thing. But as soon as I rinse that out, I'm going to continue on to the conditioner and the mask. Conditioner usually goes in just your root area. If you don't use a mask, you can work that down from your mids and ends, or from your, roots to your mids and ends. And then on the ends, you can use your mask if you have it. If not, just continue to work it through your ends. Again, it is something that I don't do a lot of grabby and raking through my hair with my fingers as a comb. It's something that I kind of massage in, and then I work it down with a little bit more of that kind of emulsifying action between two hands. So here you just see me placing a clip because it was falling. But I'm going to be rinsing it out soon, so that's when I'm going to use my Intense Repair shampoo. I recently, a year ago, had twin boy and a girl, so I did experience that normal kind of hair loss that you do after you have a baby. I know tons of women that, I was going to say millions, but I exaggerate, tons and tons of women that have that issue, and it's really frustrating, but it is just due to the way that your body is growing a human, and in my case 2 humans. So your blood is like 2 to 3 times the volume that it normally is, and your circulation's working on overdrive, your immune system's working on overdrive. There's all kinds of things going on. So when you do have a baby afterward, when you go back to all your normal levels, sometimes your body releases a lot of extra things that you had while you were pregnant, and sometimes that encourages your shedding process to start. And now I should say that hair always goes through shedding processes, and it's normal to lose about 150 hairs a day. But if you have 0 shedding, you should actually be concerned, I would say, because normally hair goes through all 3 phases of growing, shedding, and then it rests again. Where you don't want it to get stuck is on the resting phase, because that means that new hair is not coming into that follicle and starting to grow again. So here I just grabbed the Intense Repair, and that's our conditioner in the Intense Repair line, and I'm going to just place it at my roots and then kind of massage it again into my scalp. This is also an oil based, so we are going to work with what we got, and now it's putting some good stuff up in there in my scalp. Healthy scalp equals healthy hair, guys. The same way you want your skin to be healthy and have no acne, you got to work on your skin. It is one of the largest organs of your body. In fact, the largest organ, because it's all over your body. And it does soak in pretty much anything that it comes into contact with. So this is a great system for helping to increase that stimulation for the hair growth phase. So next I'm going to be using a mask. This is our Replenish mask. It's pretty much good for almost any hair type. I especially like using it on people that have colored hair, at least, if not full-on bleach. Depending on the amount of bleach, you may use a stronger mask, like our Super Nourish, or I'm sorry, that's a conditioner, our hair transformation mask, excuse me. And that one would be doing a lot more repair work, but this one here is pretty across the board, works for anybody that has hair at all, but let alone colored hair. So as you see, again, I'm just kind of working at mids to ends with a massaging motion between my hands. I don't want to rake through the hair too much. I'm just trying to separate it lightly, excuse me, and make sure that I am getting into the very center of the entire perimeter. And so I'm just going to keep kind of working it down in that gentle way. Don't worry so much about the fact that it still seems tangly. We should not be worried about that with our system, because the second that your hair hits that water, when you go to rinse it out, you are going to feel it almost just detangle with the water direction. It's amazing. Actually, it feels so wonderful, like butter. So I'm just going to let that sit on top of my head again for a few minutes with a clip or whatever, and just making sure that it really has time to do its thing with the oil-based system. And I will also sometimes use my skincare while I'm in the shower. This time I did not, but it is a good time. I'm singing in the shower. It is a good time to make sure that you are letting the products do their job the same way you would leave the purple shampoo on, the platinum, shampoo on to do its job. It is a pigmented shampoo for a reason. It's kind of a toner in a way. It's not as strong as a toner that your hairstylist might use, where it is chemically altering some things, but it does have enough pigment to deposit across the porosity of your bleached hair, which I always explain to customers, because I am a hairstylist, that it's the same thing as if you took like a yellow, bright yellow highlighter, or even a pink one, whatever color highlighter that's very neon colored, and if you drew it on, if you used it to draw on a black paper versus on a white paper, you would just probably not see anything but some kind of shininess on the black paper where you drew before with the highlighter. But if you do it on the white paper, you're going to see all kinds of colors coming out, whatever color you chose. So here I'm just rinsing it out again. Now that it's sat for a while, I am going to just kind of lightly, see how it's very much on the outside though. I'm not putting my fingers through the depth of the hair as much. In the back, I'm kind of just picking it up, and as soon as my hair catches my fingers up where it's like gonna pull, I roll them out. I just roll it out with my knuckles, and I don't let it continue to comb all the way through, because I knew if I tried to force that, I'd be damaging myself. I'd be damaging my hair. So here's where the magic happens, and we just rinse it out real nice and thoroughly. But as you start to get the water moving down the shaft of the hair to the ends, it will really start to feel like butter, you guys. It's so amazingly silky smooth, and by the time you get out and use your wet brush or whatever other nice brush you have to help detangle, it is so smooth. It feels so nourished. It feels so hydrated. I don't know how to explain it. You'll just have to try it for yourself, which we do have a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can always ask me for the details on that, but it's a great way to try full-size products while you use our system, because sometimes samples are wonderful, but they don't always give you an entire kind of before and after situation, whereas sometimes it takes people a few washes to get used to a system, not only how to do it, but just like your own oils and things balancing out. So I'm just going to make sure it's super thoroughly rinsed, and that is it, you guys. I just wanted to give you a proper how-to wash video. Thank you for being with me.